What if the most profitable crops you could possibly grow aren't corn, aren't soybeans, aren't anything in the seed catalog you ordered last spring? Most farmers are fighting over commodity crops that sell for pennies per pound. Meanwhile, a small group of growers nobody talks about are quietly selling the same weight of plant material for $20, $40, sometimes $80 per pound. To chefs who can't find it locally, to supplement companies that can't import it fast enough, to health-conscious consumers. The gap between those two worlds isn't land, it isn't equipment, it isn't experience, it's knowledge. Specifically knowing which 10 plants are sitting in a massive undersupply situation right now. High demand, almost no domestic competition. Premium pricing that makes conventional agriculture look like volunteer work. Today we're covering those 10 plants, not the obvious ones. The ones hiding in plain sight, waiting for the grower who pays attention. Stick around because number 2 on this list is researched by NASA. It grows faster than any plant on Earth, and most people throw it out of their pond without a second thought. And number 10 sells for up to $80 per pound and can be grown in a backyard in most American climates. If this is the kind of knowledge that changes how you think about your land, hit that like button right now and subscribe to Green Roots. We find this every single week. Let's get into it. 1. Moringa. The tree that prints money. Moringa oleifera grows 15 feet in its first year. Let that settle for a moment. 15 feet of harvestable leaves in 12 months. From a single planting that comes back year after year with minimal care. The dried leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound. The supplement industry cannot get enough of them. Moringa powder, moringa capsules, moringa tea. The demand across health food stores and wellness brands is outpacing domestic supply by a significant margin. Most moringa sold in America is still imported, which means every pound grown domestically captures market share that is currently going overseas. The business case is simple. High demand, limited local supply, premium pricing, low maintenance after establishment. While conventional farmers compete on volume at razor-thin margins, a moringa grower competes on quality in a market looking for domestic sources. Think of it as the tree that grows money, an accurate description when selling $40 per pound product from a plant that costs almost nothing. 2. Duckweed. The NASA crop, worth $60 a pound. Most people who see duckweed think pond scum. Researchers at NASA looked at it and saw the future of protein production. Wolffia and Lemna species are the fastest growing plants on Earth. They can double their biomass in 24 to 48 hours. They are 40 to 45% protein by dry weight. That's higher than soybeans, higher than most animal feed. And the dried product sells for $20 to $60 per pound to supplement companies and the emerging human consumption market. The cultivation setup requires no soil, just shallow tanks or ponds, water, and basic nutrients. You're harvesting constantly rather than waiting seasons. The thing most people throw away is worth more per pound than almost anything they're growing on purpose. 3. Lovage, the chef's secret ingredient. Walk into any high-end restaurant kitchen and ask the chef about lovage. Levisticum officinale tastes like celery distilled to its absolute essence. Complex, deep, and herbaceous. Chefs pay $15 to $30 per pound for it, and almost nobody is growing it commercially at small scale. It's a perennial. Plant it once, harvest it for decades. The leaves come back every spring without replanting. The farm-to-table movement created this market. Chefs want ingredients that set their dishes apart from every other restaurant on the street. 4. Culantro. The herb worth more than cilantro. Culantro has a stronger, more concentrated flavor than cilantro. It's essential in sofrito, recaito, Vietnamese PEO, and Thai curries. People who cook these cuisines authentically don't want an alternative. They'll pay $15 to $30 per pound for fresh product because it's nearly impossible to find outside ethnic specialty markets. This proves you don't need mass market appeal to build a profitable crop. Niche demand with no competition is a better business position. 5. Shiso, the Japanese herb going mainstream. Today it appears on tasting menus, craft cocktails, and food-forward grocery stores. Perilla frutescens sells for $20 to $50 per pound. Japanese and Korean restaurants need it constantly. It grows as an annual in warm climates. The flavor, a combination of mint, basil, and something uniquely its own, cannot be substituted. When something can't be replaced, buyers pay what the seller asks. The transition from niche to mainstream is happening right now. That plant you've been pulling out of your garden bed, the one with the thick succulent leaves and reddish stems that seems to appear overnight, is selling for $15 to $30 per pound 2 miles away. Portulaca oleracea, or purslane, contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any other leafy green. More than spinach, more than kale, more than anything in the produce section of any grocery store. It's packed with vitamins and minerals, and the flavor, slightly lemony, crisp, refreshing, is genuinely pleasant raw in salads or lightly cooked. Upscale restaurants and health-conscious consumers are discovering it simultaneously. The Mediterranean diet has featured it for centuries. The American market is arriving late to that understanding, which means the demand curve is still rising while supply remains nearly non-existent. The production cost is essentially zero. Purslane grows aggressively with no care, no irrigation, no special soil. The challenge isn't growing it. The challenge is recognizing that what you've been treating as a weed is actually a premium product. Next, we look at Yaupon holly, America's forgotten caffeine. There is exactly one native North American plant that contains caffeine. One. And almost nobody is growing it commercially. Ilex vomitoria produces a smooth, pleasant, caffeinated tea with none of the jitteriness from coffee. The dried leaves sell for $30 to $70 per pound. The plant grows wild across the southeastern United States. It thrives as a perennial shrub with minimal maintenance, and produces harvestable leaves multiple times per year once established. The market dynamics are as favorable as any crop on this list. Consumer interest in tea alternatives is growing rapidly. People want locally sourced, sustainable products. Yaupon delivers both while being genuinely unique, America's only native caffeinated plant. Then there is ashwagandha, the supplement industry's most wanted. The global market for ashwagandha is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Most of that product is imported. Withania somnifera is an adaptogenic root used for stress relief, energy, and overall wellness. The dried root sells for $25 to $60 per pound. Supplement companies are actively seeking reliable domestic suppliers. The plant grows in hot, dry climates and tolerates poor soil, conditions that exist across large portions of the American South and Southwest. We also have tulsi, the sacred herb crossing into mainstream wellness. Holy basil has been sacred in Hindu tradition for thousands of years. Now it's one of the fastest growing ingredients in the wellness market. The dried leaves sell for $20 to $45 per pound. Tulsi grows easily in warm climates and greenhouses, produces multiple harvests per season, and dries well for year-round availability. The story behind the plant is part of what consumers are buying. Finally, Sichuan pepper, the $80 spice. Sichuan pepper does something no other spice does. It creates a tingling, numbing sensation on the tongue that is completely unlike any other culinary experience. Xanthoxylum species sell for $40 to $80 per pound. High-end restaurants and specialty spice companies all want it fresh. The plants are shrubs or small trees that grow in temperate climates across much of the United States. Unusual is exactly what creates premium pricing. Sichuan pepper is unusual, irreplaceable, and undersupplied. That's the entire business case. Sichuan pepper does something no other spice does. It creates a tingling, numbing sensation on the tongue. Not heat, not sweetness, not sourness, but a distinct electric feeling that is completely unlike any other culinary experience. That uniqueness makes it irreplaceable in Sichuan cuisine and increasingly sought after by chefs exploring authentic Asian flavors. Xanthoxylum species sell for $40 to $80 per pound. High-end restaurants, serious home cooks, and specialty spice companies all want it fresh and domestic. The supply is almost entirely imported, which means quality varies and availability is inconsistent. The plants are shrubs or small trees that grow in temperate climates across much of the United States. Cultivation requires some knowledge of harvesting and processing the pericarp, the outer husk of the berry, which is the flavorful part. But the process is learnable, and the premium pricing compensates generously for the additional handling. Unusual is exactly what creates premium pricing in specialty markets. Sichuan pepper is unusual, irreplaceable, and undersupplied. That's not a complicated market analysis. That's the entire business case.